Hey,
Hey,
y'all doing?
Coach.
Hey.
You want statement or just questions?
You can go right to questions. I don't have much statement to make. I mean, they can directly ask me
It's not
whatever.
a post game, so
Yeah.
fire away, guys.
Coach, looking UTSA, they got one conference win on the season. I know they got a couple of guys that do most of their scoring. Can you talk a little bit about them and what kind of challenge they bring for your team?
Man, Jackson is he's the number one scorer in the of current NCAA players. He's the absolute top scorer, and then over 2,000 something points. Of course, y'all can look that up if get exactly, but he's been playing. He's a 4-year veteran, been playing since a freshman, and I mean, incredibly confident, shoots it from anywhere. The other young man Jackson's the same way. They are good. And I'm sorry, I said Jackson is Wallace, Jackson and Wallace. But anyway, very talented players. But here's the other deal. The other players are good, and I think that there's a mistake sometimes maybe on coaches' fault. So if we stop those two guys, what's very difficult to stop those guys. I think you got to try to slow those guys down. But those other three guys that they play, including their subs, are not bad players. They're not like they're weak. They've got 2 really good players and 3 weak sisters. It's not the case at all. What you got to do is try to limit those guys as much as possible, and then try to keep those other guys, of course, the 3 other guys under control, not let those guys have big nights because you've put so much emphasis on trying to stop Wallace and Jackson.
Yeah, Coach, piggybacking off Heath's question, I mean, with Wallace and Jackson, that's probably one of the best guard combos in the conference. You talk about how y'all prepared Tay and Pierre and take on those guys.
I've always felt like that of course, I think issuing the challenge, I don't think that we really have to tell our guards. Of course, Jerron and Pierre will draw. Jerron and Tay will guard those guys most of the time as well, the guys that come in off the bench. But, they're just going to have to rise to the occasion. They've, of course, already heard it for the last couple of days. Seen it already. We're just coming off the practice floor. Begin to prepare for UTSA. Going to be very difficult, very big challenge. But I know this, a champion will rise to the occasion. And of course, we have great confidence in our players too. But it also has to be not just we talk about Glenn, or we believe defensively that all 5 players are responsible for guarding the ball. And so they're not just going to be in a one-on-one ISO situation. They're going to be coming off screening actions, and you can be assured that they have been every type of defense known to man has been thrown at these two rascals. And so they're very adept at how to operate against teams that are doing everything they can to shut them down. So we have to make sure our other players are in tune as well. Hard hedging ball screens, maybe trapping ball screens, extending screening, cutting off screen, extending those screens where they can't get as many good looks. Being really prepared, I tell you what they do a great job of is on a missed shot. A lot of times in a missed shot, and we were talking about this the other day with Drain, in a missed shot of immediately when in that unorganized scramble situation after a missed shot, and they get an offensive rebound and they throw the ball back out to him real quick when you've kind of lost sight of him, and he hits a big 3. And again, another thing is their range. I mean, they will. When I tell you it, not a step or 2 over half court, you better be ready to guard them, because their range is incredible. They will, where most teams won't shoot it until they get close to that 3-point line. They'll shoot that thing from great range. So they just present a great challenge. But again, it'll be a character test for our players individually and as a team if we can get over there. And we lost a tough one over there last year. We'll have to rise to the occasion.
Coach, I'm curious, after some of the varying results, having to use an 8-man rotation for the most part, now that you're a few weeks into conference play, how much of a grasp do you have on what this team actually is and what they can be?
Well, I think the bar kind of changes, Trevor. I think if you rewind back to game one, we've always felt like that we had a chance to have a competitive team, and we're still growing. We have a lot of improving, a lot of areas in the game that we have to we have to and can get better at. And I take that as a positive. I always say, as long as you got room to improve, you can keep pushing the bar higher and higher. And so I think earlier in the year, of course, we've come a long way since Jacksonville, but we got 6 critical weeks left that are going to determine the future of this basketball team for this season. And having that is just it's tough. And so my point is yeah, we've got. I think that we have a chance to accomplish our goals, and our goal is to make the conference tournament. That's one of our goals. Of course, have a winning season. It would be a great turnaround from last year. We've still got a chance to do that. Of course, we want to finish as high as we possibly can. I just talked to the team about what it's going to take to get into the conference tournament, because now that we've gone to division play, of course, San Antonio's in our division. And, so these division games, when you're playing one-on-one, and it makes it tough that we're away, but you can't play them all at home. How do we get into the conference tournament? And of course, getting in the conference tournament gives you a chance to win the conference, gives you a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. If you win the regular season conference championship, it gives you get an NIT bid. So I mean, there's just a lot to play for, and I'm proud that our team has put us in this position. Didn't hang their heads when they lose a few games early in the season, and have battled back, and and now we're talking about having a chance at postseason play. But it's still early. Like I said, we've got 12 tough games left. All of them are going to be and 5 at home and 7 on the road, the way it's played out. So we've got to still have a lot of work to do.
Coach, I just want to ask you about Tay Hardy and just his development, because I know he made a jump as well from JUCO ball. What have you seen from him as time has gone on? And it seems like he's getting more comfortable not only handling the ball, but even playing off the ball a little bit.
He is.
Well.
Taylor, Coach Turk, who I played for here, legendary Coach Turk, he told me when I got into college coaching, he said, it always takes a junior college guy a full year. And he said they finally start just about the time they start kind of getting things figured out. He said, then they're graduating, and so he was referring to the time that it takes for him to come take a junior college guy to make an immediate impact. Well, we didn't have that time. Of course, Justin Johnson, DeAndre Pinckney, of course, Tay are guys that are making the transition, that have been kind of, put right on out there to play. And but that we're referring to Tay. I think Tay's a winner. He's a high character guy. He works his tail off every day at practice. His success that he's having on the floor, he's another player that has gotten better and better and better as the season has gone on, as he's gotten more comfortable. Now he's making an impact, of course, in a lot of ways. And you mentioned off the ball, he's beginning to be able to put offensively. He's beginning to exhibit the type of player that we knew that we were going to be signing. So I'm real proud of that. And but he's a pleasure to coach, and he's been a winner. Of course, we knew long before he got here, and he's impacting winning here at Southern Miss. Real proud of him.
Coach, but especially in the second game, noticed that point guards are having a problem getting pickpocketed coming down the court, and just kind of a few times maybe lackadaisical turnovers.
Yes.
What have you done this week to kind of reinforce maybe a little ball security going forward? Yeah. And
we
talk a little
worked,
bit about that?
Heath, we took just these are specific things for this week. Of course, that's never can be tolerated, happy about that type of thing, and we're not going to be. We're just not going to be. And you don't have a chance. The biggest sin that you can have offensively is not getting a shot. And of course, tale of two cities. Friday night we turned it over 5 times, and consequently we have our highest scoring output in a couple of years, based on what David had told me. And then of course we turned right around Saturday, playing against the same team, same type defense, and we turned over 20 times. I think the exhibit of that was right here. Is more. It's a concentration, a lack of alertness, maybe not being quite mentally ready to play, whatever it may have been, combination of a lot of things, poor fundamentals. But what we did is we took we clipped up on film every single turnover. And there, I would go back, about 17 of the 20 were correctable, either a fundamental mistake, like leaving our feet to pass the ball, which is a fundamental error, trying to split a double team with the dribble, things that are, you know, I don't want to say junior high level mistakes, but things that are taught at a very early age of basketball play, of playing basketball development, that you just don't do. And so those are all, the good thing about them is correctable. The scary part would be if they weren't correctable. We just weren't good enough ball handlers. But of course that's not the case. It's just, we just didn't do a good job of taking care of the ball. So we do. And then to answer your other question, we work on ball security every single day. We worked on it the days before we had 5 turnovers, and we're going to work on it the day after we have 20 turnovers. That's a consistent thing that we work on.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, I just wanted to ask you real quick about Coach McNillis, and obviously the news about her diagnosis. Just, you've probably known her a very long time, and,
yes,
and she's been a part of Southern Miss, you know, over 2 decades almost.
Yeah, you know,
what did she mean to Southern Miss?
Well,
you know?
first of all, personally, I want to go back. Anybody, and you do. You know, I'm specifically, personally, you do. You have some Hancock County roots, and with your family, and I do. And Coach McNellis does. You know, she's from the little community of Leetown, and went to Hancock North Central, which is now Hancock High School. When I was a little boy, Hancock, the basketball at Hancock North Central, they had a great basketball tradition, one of the greatest basketball traditions in Mississippi, and a rural type county, small. So basketball, like it is in a lot of places in the United States, was and is very important down there. And again, that's where my dad grew up, and of course, Coach McNellis grew up. And so we had a strong interest in what was going on down there. And as a little boy, my who I referred to as my uncle, but my dad's first cousin, my cousin, was the longtime basketball coach there, the guys coach at Hancock. And we would go down to watch the games a lot, drive down from Hattiesburg to watch them play. So we would always get there watch the girls team, and they were just as strong as the boys team. They were very, very good. And one of my favorite players early on was Joynell Lee. You know, that was her maiden name before she got married. And so I always had a great admiration. And then, of course, she signed was one of the first stars of our Lady Eagle program as a player. We always came to watch the Lady Eagle games and watched her play, and she was such a great player. So that was someone that, as a little boy, that I always really looked up to and kind of idolized, even though, you know, you can idolize girl athletes just as well as guys. And but because we kind of shared a little bit of the same background. And so anyway, of course, followed her coaching career. My cousin, Michael Ladner, was one of her assistants when she was coaching at Memphis. So we've just always had a long personal relationship. And then the one year that I coached at Oak Grove High School, I had the honor to coach her son, Connor. The family connections go a long way back and are very deep, and the roots are deep. But of course, coming to USM, it was a great. She was one of the first people I talked to when I got on campus, of course. And it's been wonderful working alongside of her. And just when we heard the news coming back from Birmingham the other night, we saw it on social media. We were just the whole bus was just just overtaken, was quiet, was solemn. And I know said some personal prayers myself and been praying for her ever since. So she means a lot she doesn't just mean a lot to the basketball program. I think her status means, and her persona means a lot to the university, and she represents a lot of what's great about our program. She personifies that about our university, I should say, an athletic program. So we're praying for her, but I know this, she's going to battle it because that's who she is, and hopefully and prayerfully that she'll beat this thing.
You guys good now?
Okay, thank y'all. I think
Thank you, Coach.
you're welcome.
Thanks,
Thank y'all. Y'all
Coach.
have a good day. I think Artur is about to come on and visit with y'all. Okay, thank y'all for your coverage. Okay.
All right, we got Artur Konontsuk. That's it, right?
No.
What's going on, Artur?
What's up? Hello. Konontsuk.
Konontsuk. There you guys go.
Okay, sorry. Artur,
What's up?
man,
Good to see you.
you
You
say,
have, a, you have a nice Polish art. Polish.
I appreciate that, buddy. I appreciate that. Good to talk to you. Sorry. Talk a little bit about this season and, man, talk about this team. And right now, from where you were last year to where you are now, talk about the differences in the team.
So I will start with the team. So of course we have a lot of new guys and a lot of new players. It's always exciting to play with new people, learn their game. Of course, you as a player you learn something new from new players. I think we have more talent. We are more aggressive. We are more together. We have better chemistry. And as a player, I think my confidence has gone up. I play with more confidence. I'm like seeing the game now more slowly. I read the game better. And also, I think the coach has trusted me to play me at the final minutes. When it's the crunch time, he trusts me. He trusts me enough. Yeah. So that's the change, the difference.
It seems like you guys have a bigger presence, down in the paint as well. You got some bigger guys down there. How has that changed not just your role, but the entire team? I guess how has that helped knowing you guys, last year you only had maybe a couple. You have several you can put down there in the post now.
Yeah. We do have more players who can play in the post, and that's always an advantage for the team. To play inside out, you can play like different plays. You can play for a post, like Tyler Stevenson, great post player. He has a great mid-range game. Also DeAndre, who's playing post, but he also can play at the perimeter too. He can pick and pop. So and also on the defensive side too. We're still small compared to other Division I teams, but we're bigger than last season. So defensively, getting rebounds, blocking shots, all that, it's better than last season.
I've heard you mention kind of the team chemistry, the locker room being different than it was last season. Is there any guy in particular or a couple of guys that kind of changed that altogether for you?
What do you mean exactly?
I've heard you make comments into the, earlier in the season, specifically the Tulane game, in reference to the Gabe Watson situation, just that, guys wanted to be here. Guys wanted to wear the Southern Miss jersey. Just in terms of the new faces that came into the program this season, was there any guy in particular that just helped the team chemistry?
Yes, I would say Tay Hardy. He is locked in every day, every practice. He wants to make himself better, and also people around him, other players. I have learned a lot of him. Like he has good leadership. People listen to him. I listen to him, and I think now this season I didn't have that power last season, but this season I feel like players started to listen to me too. When during the games I called some shots or say something to them, they're listening. So yeah, Tay Hardy is the player that like tied us all together like that.
Anything else for Artur?
Artur, can you talk about? I mean, you are here from another country, but talk about having Mark here and what that means for you and for him too. Having somebody here that you can talk to, maybe goof off with in your native language. What does that mean for you?
Yes, there's a lot of benefits him having here. Last season was really tough for me. I was put together with a random band guy in the dorm. It was who I talked to, I think 3 times for a whole year. 3 times. We saw it every day, but I talked to him three times. So now I have Mark here. I can I speak to him every day. I do with him all this stuff. Go eat with him. Go to a restaurant, to cinema. And the biggest thing is that I can speak Estonian. So when I go back to Estonia, I haven't forgotten how to speak Estonian language. So that helps me out too.